Alright. Get out of the bacon grease, Porkins. Just get out of the bacon grease. Get out of the bacon grease, Porkins! Get out of the bacon grease, Porkins! There are so many opinions on the question of whether or not pre-ordering a game is worth it, or even necessary. And like I briefly said in my previous Battlefront 2 details video, the two sides of the argument are very vocal. I think the overall argument is blown out of proportion simply because the strongest opinions are often the loudest, but they do have some great arguments. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're all big boys and girls, you can make your own decision that doesn't rely on the opinions of others. But I am here to give you my little opinion on the matter. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you're gonna buy the game anyway, right? Star Wars. That might sound shallow to most, and maybe it is, but it's just the truth. I'm gonna buy the game for that reason. I'm a hypocrite. The arguments against pre-ordering are good ones. Most of the time when a publisher pushes the pre-ordering of a game, no one has had the chance to play it. So they're pushing a product that hasn't been tested by the media, reviewers, or consumers, and the line between all three of those examples are being blurred thanks to the internet. It's pretty neat. But yeah, the argument is pretty sound. No one has had the opportunity to tell you that you shouldn't buy the game because it's junk, because no one has had a chance to play the game. Opinions do matter. Whenever a new game comes out, I instantly head over to some of my favorite YouTube channels to hear what they have to say. And honestly, their opinions and the consensus of the masses sometimes dictate if I buy a game or not. I know I always say that you should form your own opinion on something and not parrot what others say, but in the case of spending $60 on a game, it's not a bad practice. The internet gaming community is like one big consumer protection agency that keeps developers honest. So it could be argued that pre-ordering is an attempt by the publisher to circumnavigate negative press before negative press has an opportunity to surface. Chances are, if you pre-ordered the 2015 Battlefront and you were disappointed, you're probably wary this time around about pre-ordering Battlefront 2. That is completely understandable. That scenario is a perfect example of what I just talked about. I pre-ordered Battlefront 2015. I enjoyed it more than most, it seems. I dumped over like 100 hours into it. So I'm not as wary as most, but I do see their concern. There are more arguments against pre-ordering, and I'll get to some of those. But like I said earlier, I'm gonna buy the game. I already know I'm gonna buy the game. Not the deluxe edition. I'm gonna buy the standard $60 edition. Am I gonna pre-order? You know, I probably will. I play on the PC, and really the only reason that I have a desire to pre-order is so I can preload the game on my computer, and not have to wait for everything to download and install when it goes live. You can just have everything installed and ready to go, and then when midnight strikes, you can just click play. I personally do not care about the pre-order bonuses. I'm actually against these perks as a bonus for pre-ordering. Skins and costumes and shit like that are fine, but having a leg up on everyone else just because you pre-ordered or paid a little more, that's dumb. Everyone should start on a level playing field. So the only reason that I'm interested in pre-ordering Battlefront 2 is so I can preload the game and jump right into the action as soon as the game goes live. That's it. Like I said, it's a Star Wars game, and I like shooters. I already know I'm gonna buy it. Is pre-ordering even necessary nowadays? In the past, before it was the norm to digitally download your games, pre-ordering made more sense. You'd often go to a store only to discover that the title you were looking for was sold out. So you'd call around to the other stores to check their inventory. It was like a treasure hunt. The last time I had this happen was when Oblivion came out in 2007, I believe. I lived in Orlando at the time, and I couldn't find a PC copy. My friends that pre-ordered Oblivion had no problem grabbing their copy, but nowadays, you can just download the game if you want. There's no line, there's no wait. You just click download, watch a Star Wars Explained video, and then you're ready to play. So what is the point of pre-ordering nowadays? It's hard to say. I guess some people just want to be first, and some people want the bonus stuff, which I get, but for me, it's become a completely unnecessary practice. I never pre-order games except for Battlefront. So I guess I'm a hypocrite. I guess I'm an asshole. I guess I'm whatever insult comes up in the comment section. I really hate the idea of getting perks for pre-ordering. It frustrates me that that's become the norm. No one should have a competitive advantage in a competitive game that isn't based on achievement or time spent in the game. I think it's a weird practice. I disagree with it on all fronts. And most of the time, the perks that you get for pre-ordering can be achieved on your own just by playing the game for a few hours. You want that blaster? You gotta hustle. You gotta earn it. You don't have to fork over an extra $20. I know it's enticing. I know we want to be the first, but it doesn't matter. Just play the game. For the most part, you'll get all that stuff eventually. This practice also spawned the pay-to-play, the pay-to-win, the DLC model that's also become the norm. I hate that too. So, should you pre-order Battlefront 2? I'm not going to say yes or no. It's an individual thing. If you're not that big of a gamer, it might be worth it to you to wait a little while until the price drops and some deals pop up. If you're not that big of a gamer, you might benefit from waiting and hearing what the gaming community has to say. If you pre-ordered Battlefront 2015 in 2015 and you were disappointed, hey, why not resist the temptation? The game's not going anywhere. We all have that collector's urge, that consumer itch. But sometimes we have to confront that impulse and say not today. But if you're 100% gonna buy Battlefront 2 anyway, there's really no harm in pre-ordering, I guess. I mean, as an industry practice, I don't necessarily agree with it, but Battlefront 2 is different for me. I can't quite explain why. It's just a fandom thing. I love the wars. I want to play Battlefront 2. So that's as simple as it gets for me. I see both sides of the argument, and the argument against pre-ordering is sound. It might be the better argument. And most of the time, I fall on the side of not pre-ordering. But this is Battlefront.
Always with you, cannot be done.